Good afternoon and welcome. Welcome indeed. Yes, to what day are we at now? It's very confusing. Yes, a Wednesday edition of the Mark Moses Show podcast, as we're always broadcasting live from the Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Take back control of your life. Call them today. This is very key. 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. Anidjar and Levine Accident Attorneys. And let's go out to the great state of Arkansas and talk to one of my former interns who's doing a great job right there in the state, Pig Suey, and she's now the new sports director for Fox 16. She is the great Courtney Mims. Courtney, how you doing today?
I'm good. You always have the best intros for me. Always.
Right.
There's nobody that compares. I'm sorry.
All right, let me see if I can do this off the top of my head. So Courtney's journey has been this. All right. She started in Melbourne, Florida. She's born in across the pond in England, then grew up in this area. Then she went to school at the University of Florida. Then her first job was in Pensacola. Is that correct?
Panama City Beach. Close.
Okay. I got to get the Wikipedia page. Then you went to Fayetteville, Arkansas. Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've moved up in the world where you are in Fox 16. Are you in the state capital? Where are you exactly?
Yeah, Little Rock, Arkansas. You're exactly right.
Well, congratulations on the new job. Tell us about it, Courtney. The fans need to know.
Yeah, so basically the job is very honestly what you would expect. I'm now a sports director, which means I run a sports department here in the nation's capital at a TV station. We're Fox 16, so we're an affiliate of even KARK, who I used to work for with Pig Trail Nation. And so not only do we just cover the Arkansas Razorbacks, right? Arkansas has so many fantastic sports teams here. Yes, everybody knows the Razorbacks, right? But we have Arkansas State, coached by the Butch Jones, guys, who I'm sitting down with later today. So going to be exciting to get to talk to him. UCA, you've got UAPB, you've got there's Little Rock Trojans, coached by Darryl Walker. Their men's basketball team going to be really good this year. Going to be sneaky good. I mean, put your money on them early to make a splash in the NCAA tournament. I'm predicting that way early here. But so many amazing sports teams, not to mention all the incredible high school sports as well in this state. So covering all of it here in Little Rock, and I'm going to have a blast doing it. So only my like fourth or fifth day, and we're just now we're going to Jonesboro to interview Butch Jones. So.
That's really cool. So how many years now have you lived in Arkansas?
I have lived in Arkansas for almost 4 years now.
Are you starting, since you love the Gators, is it starting like, that's my past, now I'll root for Arkansas? Is that finally starting to happen?
So it definitely has already happened, because I call myself an honorary Gatorback, which me and like Felipe Franks both call ourselves that. So it's kind of cool, I guess. But yeah, I feel like when Arkansas plays Florida, I'm a little less rooting for the Gators as I probably should be, I know. But here's the thing. My life is better when Arkansas wins, right? I like reporting on wins. I'm a competitive girl, heart and heart, right? I love winning. I hate losing. And so when I have to talk about losses, like when the College World Series, when Dave Van Horn, this was his year. I was ready for this team to finally win a national title after going to the College World Series so many times and not being able to do it. And so when they lost to LSU, I had to like console myself to get on air. Like that was how heartbroken I was for this team. And so a lot of people say, well, you're a Razorback, right? At the end of the day. So
we're here with Courtney Mims. I had to get that answer. That was for your family. They want their official statement from Courtney. You root for now. Look, I get it. Look, people ask me all the time, Mark, what teams do you root for in Florida for college football? I go, I'll root for everyone except the Georgia Bulldogs. I know. Whoever it is, Anti-Georgia Bulldogs. That's what
Yeah, I agree with you there. I mean, honestly, I could never bring myself to root for FSU, and I could never bring myself to root for Miami, but everybody else is fair game. I mean, I like seeing what they can do, but you're exactly right. I mean, I'll be honest though, my family roots for the Hogs. My dad calls the Hogs a lot, and it's kind of weird. So I feel like Arkansas should hire him. Honestly, Coach Calipari needs to give him a call because he loves the Razorbacks.
Okay, I wanted to ask you that because when I talked to you last summer and you were getting ready to cover basketball, Arkansas, where they get John Calipari, you did it for a year. It, what was that experience like for you, Courtney? To this guy who's so legendary, Hall of Famer, so famous. What was that experience like?
Well, as a basketball fan, right, at the heart of what I do, when people ask me what's my favorite sport to cover, it's basketball. And you guys know that, on this show, you've had my dad on before, so people know who he is. But what as a basketball fan, to get to cover a Hall of Fame coach like John Calipari and to get to have that experience, and not only have that experience, but I was interviewed for a documentary on John Calipari, and I was actually interviewed in that Razor's Edge documentary that was on him. And I was like, man, I've never been asked to be in a basketball documentary before. It was just such a cool experience for me, just as a basketball fan, not even as a person who covers sports all the time. But the other thing that was cool was the way the season went, Mark, was they started off so poorly in the SEC. When they started off 0-5 in the league, I went, there's no way they're making the tournament. There's absolutely no way that this team is good enough. And you were almost watching John Calipari in action. You were watching a true Calipari coach basketball team, because you can talk about all the fabulous teams he's had at Kentucky and all the fabulous teams he's had over his career. But this was a team that nobody thought would bounce back, and he did that. He got them to believe in themselves, and I got to go to San Francisco and cover them in the Sweet 16. I mean, that was insane. Insane. I got to cover Calipari coaching against Rick Pitino in Providence. And just those experiences are ones that I look back on. I'm going, man, that was the coolest thing. Some of the coolest things I've ever gotten to do in my life.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The job he did was phenomenal, where they went from, all right, we're not competitive, and then all of a sudden we're making a Sweet 16 run in year one. Look, they're already killing Bill Belichick at North Carolina for one game. And this guy showed up and got them in the right direction. You're absolutely right. Are there higher expectations than this fall? Like, we better make the Final Four now for that.
Well, there's huge expectations. And the reason is not just because of what they did last year, because they've gotten more talent this year. And so when you've returned a ton of your talent, not only have you returned your talent, but you've also added some key pieces, some more McDonald's All-Americans and guys that you're going, oh man. I mean, the guys they added in the transfer portal, I love. Some people in Florida might know that they added Malik Ewan over from FSU. He's fabulous. He's a center, but he plays like a guard. It's just, I mean, you just watch him and you're like, what can't this guy do, right? And then Nick Pringle from South Carolina, man, that guy's on his third SEC team right now. This guy has so much experience in the league. You're going, he's great too. Then you talk about who they brought back. Carter Knox was a guy that was looking at being drafted, right? This was a guy that tested the draft waters and said, could have been drafted, could have absolutely gone to the league and said, you know what? Nah, going back to school, gonna go do another year. And you're going, okay, okay, this is awesome, awesome. So, yes, the expectations are high, but not just because of what they did last year, because of who they added. And Calipari, he said something not too long ago. He said, I schedule based on how I think my team's talent is. Well, guess what? He scheduled every single team that played in the Elite Eight last year. Every single team. They're on the schedule, non conference and conference. Every single team that was an Elite Eight team last year, they're playing this year. And that says to me, he thinks he's got a pretty good squad. So that makes me think Final Four, man, it's coming.
Well, I think like last year, Courtney, where Florida won the whole thing. I saw them play in person last year, and I'm like, okay, they're good. I don't know if they're great. And then all of a sudden they go on this run. I think with the current state, and I want your thoughts, current state of NIL, transfer portal, I, I think anyone, if you just get hot, you could win the whole damn thing. Do you feel that way?
Absolutely. Nolan Richardson, who many people know, Arkansas Razorback, great. I mean, goodness gracious, when I got to meet the man, I was standing in front of a legend. And he's said something so many times, not only in interviews he's done in the 90s when he was coaching the Razorbacks, but even now when I go back and ask him about the NCAA tournament, he said to me, he said, this is not going to be shocking to you. You've probably heard me say this before, but winning a national title when it comes to that tournament, when it comes to March Madness, yes, it takes a lot of talent, but it also takes a lot of luck, right? Because you can have a really, really good team and you can have every piece you needed. But if you don't get the right draw, then you're not getting to the Final Four. Forget it. You can face a team that's hot and not even get a chance to go play in the Sweet 16. And so that to me is where John Calipari, a lot of people go, why hasn't he won more national titles with all the great teams he's had and what a fabulous coach he is? Why hasn't he won more? And to that I say, it takes a lot of luck. And yeah, with NIL and transfer portal, yes, it's anybody's game. It is, but it also takes a lot of luck.
It's funny where they discuss, hey, let's expand the tournament. So now I got to win 8 games. What am I doing after a while? It's all right. I know you're a busy lady, so I have to ask you this real quick. This is very key. So for college football, I mean, you cover the Razorbacks, the SEC. You've done it for a couple of years now. Now we're in this 12-team playoff world. My thing is just get to the playoff. Who cares about winning your conference? And you could lose multiple games. How do you look as a college football person that covers the sport, loves the sport? What do you think of this current landscape we're now going to live in with the playoff?
Well, it's going to hurt some teams, is what it's going to do. And what I'm really referring to is the teams like Arkansas State, UCA that I talk about, these lower tier teams. It's going to hurt them in the long run. And why I say that is because everybody's now thinking in this scheduling mindset, we've got to get to the playoff, right? And so we've got to schedule games that will help our chances to get to the playoff, but maybe you also look at the other side of things like an Indiana, right? Or a Missouri right now who has a cupcake schedule. And so you're going, okay, but are they going to make the playoff with that resume? It's going to be interesting to see what happens moving forward with this because I think now that they've expanded to 12, I think they're going to expand even more. They made a lot of money last year from it. They're going to make even more money if they keep expanding it, right? And so I think it won't get out of hand like 32 teams or something, but it could, expand even further. I think 16 is the next natural progression, right? Hey, we tried 12, we're going to go to 16. But I think it's going to be really interesting because I do think it's going to affect those smaller schools that, hey, we're going to want to pad our resume. And so you look at a team like Arkansas, right? And if they win 9 ball games, they should definitely be in the conversation with how tough their schedule is, right? I mean, they should definitely be in the conversation versus a Missouri who might go and win 10 games, but they have a cupcake schedule. So, or an Indiana or somebody else, and I use them as examples, but there's many examples of that. And so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens because I really think those smaller schools are going to end up getting the chopping block where we don't need your games, right? We don't need to play an FBS school. We don't need to do that because we we're gonna schedule someone better. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
No, look, and they're going to add a 9th conference game as well to the SEC. So
exactly.
look, I'm with you 100%. It's interesting where they had the first year of this 12-team playoff last year. They're like, all right, 4 top conference champions get the bye. So 4 top teams all lost in round 1. So now they're like, just forget that. We're going to decide who the top 4 teams are. We're going to do that moving forward. So you're right. It might keep expanding. All right. All right. I've waited 15 minutes to ask this question. You are the number one person. You're smiling because you know what the question's going to be. All right. So Courtney announced a couple months ago that she's getting married. Then her deity, whatever her goddess, Taylor Swift, who Courtney, by the way, for years on this show has been hyping as the greatest thing since sliced bread, is getting married as well. What are your thoughts? You're both getting married. What are your thoughts, Courtney?
I mean, we're both in our bridal era, right? But the biggest thing, Mark, that everyone keeps putting out there to me is that we have now been through every life stage together at the same time, which is kind of crazy. And so a lot of people feel like, what if she gets married next May when I'm getting married? And I really thought about that, and I toyed with the idea of moving my wedding date after setting up everything, after setting up every single vendor, after calling people. We did have a family meeting to talk about moving the date and would that be possible. But I think I'm gonna roll the dice and see when she's gonna get married. Hopefully it's not the same date, but if it is, we won't find out till way later, right? That's not gonna be a public announcement. They're gonna get married in private, they're gonna do it, and then we're gonna find out way later, right? Like we found out about the engagement 3 weeks after it happened. So I think we're gonna find out later. So people feel like she's gonna get married in May, and that's when I'm getting married. So
Okay, wait. When you said talk to the family, are you talking Taylor Swift's family or your own family? Because I
my
know
own my own family about moving my date specifically to make that make sense. However, I learned very recently that it's very hard to move a date once you have it set and you have all your vendors booked. So I thought it was a little easier to do that. Apparently not. Apparently nobody thinks that it's that easy to move a date because Taylor Swift decided to get married the same time as me. So
I I remember a couple years ago and you were at the concert
I
when
was
they
when
when
she met Travis Kelce. Yes.
because he was doing this corny thing like, oh, I'm gonna give her the bracelet and get her number. And I remember you were there. You
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
there in Kansas City. That's where this all started. All of
Yes. So this is why she's getting married in May, and I just know it because she's gonna pick the same month as me. It's outside of football season, right? Outside of football season.
Yes.
It's a good month to get married in for most locations across the world. May is a good month. So yeah. So she's probably gonna get married in May, and me and Taylor Swift are gonna have the same anniversary month. It would be crazy if it was the same day. I don't think gonna be the same day, but who knows? At this point, I wouldn't put it past them. I've
It,
had too many things weird happen to me.
is it wrong that I feel like if she got a divorce, you'd then get the greatest album ever from Taylor Swift? Is that wrong to say? A very selfish thing to ask
But
because
I don't think you would though. Is that weird?
you don't want them to get a divorce. You want them to be happy together.
I don't want them to get a divorce. Obviously, I would be gutted and I would probably be considering my own divorce. So don't tell my fiance that. They have to stay together for our well-being. But in addition to that, she hasn't written about breakups in a very long time. And so I think she's past all of that, to be honest with you. All of her albums now are some really beautiful storytelling. She writes a lot about her own life, her own self, not about her. Now she's wrote a few songs about Travis, but not as many as she would have like when she was 16, obviously,
Well,
right?
yeah, that makes sense. It
Y-
does.
You've
It's
gotten a little older now.
it's fascinating. She usually would date like talented singers or actors, but she decided I'm going to give this football player a chance. And by the way, he is very talented, and I thought he was great on Saturday Night Live. And I think that kind of opened the door as well. Like, hey, who's this guy? I'm just look. I am fascinated by Patrick Mahomes. Should have all this like national media hype, but it's his tight end. His tight end stole everything from him. Everything. And I bet you that Brittany Mahomes is thinking, well, I should be Queen Bee. No, it's Taylor Swift now.
I
She's
mean,
the queen
that
of
was that was Brittany Mahomes' worst nightmare when Travis and Taylor were starting to date because she was like, I was the biggest wag on the team, and now I'm not.
You are nothing. And I like where Taylor Swift starts breaking down football knowledge. Like she's putting in the effort to know this stuff with coverages, and she knows everything. I love it.
She genuinely knows everything. I guarantee you this girl, she did not know anything about football, and then now she's like a whiz at it. I guarantee you when she was talking about coverages on the podcast, I was like, that girl knows everything. She's learning.
She's still not Courtney Mims. Her name is, yes, superstar, getting married next May. It appears. It depends what Taylor Swift does. Yes, with Fox 16. How can they follow you on social media, Courtney?
You can follow me on my X page, or if you're a cool kid like me, you still call it Twitter. But you can follow me on my Twitter at Mims Courtney over there. You can follow me on Facebook too at Courtney Mims Sports. And yeah, that's most of my pages and things like that. So there you go.
I never told you that last August, not this 2024. So I'm on the tube in London, and all of a sudden, all these women get on the tube, and I'm like, what's going on here? They were all dressed as Taylor Swift, and one dude came on with a Travis Kelce jersey. I'm like, uh-oh, I know what's happening. They're all going to Wembley Stadium that night to see Taylor Swift. I was like, I can't get away from this. I go out of the country, and they're still following me. And I swear, I thought you and your sister were going to jump on at any moment. Like, I thought I was going to bump into you. I thought
it would be very cool if I was able to get to Wembley Stadium. Unfortunately, I feel like at the time she was doing that concert, I did have something else going on in the sports world of coverages and stuff. So
they showed the video later that night on BBC. Thousands of people at that train stop trying to get back on the tube. I'm like, nope.
Yeah, Mark, I'll do you one better. Kansas City, you know how long we waited in the parking lot to leave?
How long did you wait, Courtney?
Till 4 a.m.
Oh, it was worth it, though.
It
was worth it every time. And you're going to go again. There's a new album. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Yeah, she also covers sports. That's how she makes money around here. Courtney, thank you for your help and have a great day, all right?
Thanks for having me on, Mark. I appreciate you.